Yeah, I mean, Gene Deal didn't want him to go out. He actually said in our interview that he got a call from Mecca Audio telling him not to go. And we interviewed Mecca, who confirmed this phone call.
His people told him there was a hit on Biggie, so whatever it was. So now I was cool with a CO in there, so I get the phone and I made a 3-way call, which I wasn't allowed to because I could have lost my phone and got started over in the whole program behind that. But I get on the phone and I call this girl and I tell her to call Gene because I know she was in touch with Gene and I know Gene is reputable, Big Gene, and he gonna get the word out there. So I told, I just called and said, yo, tell him to vest up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that he know what time it is. You know what I mean? Ain't no whole bunch to say, tell him to vest up. Don't go to Cali, nigga. It's on, They done turned it to another level, So it was only right when I heard something like that for me to let him know as a man, and I jeopardized everything, you know what I mean? By making that phone call, you know what I mean? But I had to make that phone call. That was my duty, you know what I mean? As a man, when I hated the comrades, you know what I mean? Life could be in danger.
I remember in the interview with C's, we were talking about how when they finally heard the news that Biggie had passed away, it was like, who's going to tell Big's mom? And D-Rock was the one that volunteered to make that phone call. So in the same way that he called you, he called Biggie's mom, which I'm sure was a much more difficult phone call.
Listen, I had to drive her to the airport that morning and put her on the plane to go to L.A. to get her son.
What state was she in?
It was horrible, man.
Like she only had one child. This was her only child.
Her only child, and it's unfair that she has no closure to it. And, it's unfair about all of the conspiracies of it all, about how, there's nobody to give her comfort in what happened to her son. And she needs clarity. She needs to find out what really transpired. And she did a lot. She's still on their head, and it's weird because what people don't realize is that they did a thorough investigation on Big thus far that they say, but no one's ever asked me anything about Big's death.
You never got questioned. Jacob York, who's here right now in the room, he never got questioned.
Little Kim never
got questioned.
But they claim to have done a thorough investigation. And I was Big's business partner. Everybody knows what I was for Big, right? No one asked, was anybody threatening y'all? Did y'all owe anybody money? And I'm sitting here saying, but they said that they were concerned about who killed Big. And at some point, I'm like, well, all of these stories about $60 million, you let the world tell the story. I got $64 million after Big died, right? So wouldn't somebody, the FBI, so they say, was investigating, wouldn't somebody say, hey, was anything going on? And I'm saying nobody cared to ask me anything, no magazine at that time, Source, Vibe. The only thing people were concerned about is me and Jay.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, ultimately, Miss Wallace sued the LAPD. It ended up getting dismissed. I've talked to a lot of people, like when it comes to...
Yeah, but it only got dismissed based on the LAPD doing their own internal investigation, and that investigation came back to say it wasn't no cops involved.
Right.
So now, no civil suit. We don't have to pay. It's like, fuck you, prove some shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? But y'all claim, y'all done did movies with Forrest Whitaker and Johnny Depp about the thorough investigation. And at some point, I'm saying, when was we not the people who you should have started with?